Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next podcast or today's podcast especially. So, in last podcast, we discussed about your uh, documents, what you need actually for submitting your university, for getting your offer letter or getting your approval. So, in today's podcast, we back again, and we got back our colleagues. One of the best colleagues of us is Munna is back here today. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about especially about the interview, what professor asked at the interview, what the visa ambassador asked the interview. It's like almost the same questions, but changing the scenario. There's a few extra questions. So we're going to discuss these things as well. So in today's podcast, our main goal is all about to talking about the interview question, what they asked so far, and some other things as well. Okay, so without any further ado, let's start. We begin with our first question. So first of all, welcome guys. Thank you so much to have you back in here. Muna, how was your week? Last week?
Thank you. Last week I was busy because my wife came here very recently, and I had some interviews because today we are going to talk about interviews. So I said it interview, but it's a appointment for some here the immigration. You know it, the
Yeah,
safe
yeah, yeah.
appointment. So that's why I was too much busy that time. But okay, now when I am very happy to hear always. So I am
Yes,
free
yes.
today, then I'm
That's
coming.
the
I'm
main
really
point.
enjoying this podcast.
Yes, in last podcast, me and Abdul was doing the podcast, and it was not. It was quite informative. But if you have over here, who knows? Maybe we're getting some extra information regarding the documents as well. So
No,
yeah,
I
guys,
believe
if you have any
you
question,
both
just
have
put over
also
here.
the
Leave it in
yeah,
the comment
yes.
section.
Hi everyone, but I would like hi everyone. I would like to say something because Munna, you took your master in Russia, so you
Hmm.
may tell us what documents they request from you. Because for me, I started my PhD outside my country, but for you, both master and PhD outside your country.
Yes,
So
yes.
do you have any?
No, but the thing is, if you started the interview for PhD master is different. It's not same.
Mhm.
Because the PhD interview, as you know, the PhD interview depend on the master's education. Like the
Yeah, but
interview is,
I mean for
yeah, I
documents for
understand.
master,
No,
I
but
got
not
you.
document
interview.
Okay, guys. So
is
what
a
we can do, the fact is that because our today's topic is all about interview, so if we get
mhm.
some little time at the last, so guys, if you're
Okay,
still watching for the documents, somebody is maybe wondering about the documents, we have a specific video. Just click on the I button, you will get that video. But however, as we missed Munna in the last video, so he's going to describe little bit of the documents about Russia, and because Russia is a different, it's not about Europe, but I think the documentation is complete, almost same. So maybe if we get an extra time, we're going to talk about the documents specific for the masters in Russia and other, if he could.
No, the Russian education structure is followed by the Union. So
Oh,
it's,
then
you
it's good.
can say
So then it's good. So
everything
yeah,
is
we're going
from
to
the
talk
Europe.
about this thing. So
Okay.
let's begin with. I'm just asking the question, and I will also share my knowledge regarding the interview. So I just want to know, Muna and Abdul,
Mhm.
what they actually specifically asked in the interview for the what could be the first question? What question they like mostly asked?
Okay, Abdul, you can start. Then
um,
because I will
okay.
introduce the masters and I will take time. So
You'll
please
take time.
first.
Okay. For me, as I told you before, that I made many interviews with Ireland, Spain, Portugal, Australia, Greek, all these countries. I made interviewed them. Actually, in the first interview, because some scholarships may take long time of interviews, maybe 4 times, something like that. But every time, and always the first question, that once you started the meeting, and the professor may present himself, and after that he will told you, of course we received your application and your CV, and we know about you, we already knew something about you, but it's better for us if you can explain or give us more information about yourself. So it's always the first question will be about yourself, who you are, what skills, what is your background, you are interested in what is your achievement in research. This is because, as Mona even mentioned before, because I'm a PhD student, and this is the interview is based on my background and knowledge that I gained during my master degree. So you will take most of the meeting or the first meeting of the interview, speaking about your skills, your interesting, your background, your researcher, what you made, what you achieved, in order that the professor can be sure that what is the strong point or skills that you have, and what he, if your skills is matching with him, is this some kind of skills that I need to make my project success or not. And of course, from the first meeting, from my opinion, it's the most easy one, because you are just explain about yourself. And if you prepare everything, it will be easy. For me, the first one, it wasn't easy because I don't know what will happen. But after I made another interviews, I found out that most of the question is about myself. So I prepared everything about myself. I make some kind, many times I speak to myself or presenting myself even to my friends, like a simulation of the interview. And after that, I found myself most of the time I passed the first time, and I continue the competition for a scholarship if it's some kind of competition or not. So if you would like, for the second meeting, they may give you, if a second interview, they may give you some kind of papers to read. It depends about the scholarship mechanism. They may give you a paper to read, and after that, they will ask you, for example, they will give it to you today at 12 p.m., and tomorrow at 12 p.m. they will make another interview with you. In that case, they want to be sure, what are you really some kind of man who can understand the paper in 1 day, and you can explain it well, and you can propose better solutions or not. Sometimes they don't care about that. They, in the first meeting, they may ask you some questions about the skills to make sure that you have this kind of skills, specific skills. Because as I mentioned to you before, for me, I select a scholarship based on my interest. So even the professor would like to select a student that match with the scholarship field of study. If not, I think the professor will say, why I will take someone who don't have any kind of knowledge about this subject of field. He will take long time in order to study. And the professor for a PhD, he don't want someone to start from the beginning. This is in most cases. But because scholarship has limited time, like 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, it depends. So he needs someone, at least he have the basics and he can continue, not to start from the beginning. If you will start from the beginning, what makes you different from the other people?
Yeah, got you,
No,
got you.
nothing.
Okay. So, yeah, I also like to talk about this thing, but as I'm not a student of PhD, so Munna can also say this thing. But Munna, I just want to know something from you, as you have also done your masters in outside of Bangladesh, like outside of your home country. So could you please say regarding about masters? Then you can also add it little bit in terms of like PhD, as you were doing your PhD over here, and I will talk about the bachelor most of them, because as I'm doing my bachelor over here.
Yes, first I want to talk about the visa interview because this then I will go for the
We can add both of
uh,
them, interview also takes interview, so like most
no,
like
but the
first.
interview is different. The visa interview and the professor interview is different because the environment is different.
Yes.
For example, when you go for professor interview, they make the interview too friendly, so
Okay.
you feel comfortable to talk with the professors. But when you go the visa,
Yeah,
they look
they
like, okay,
discourage you.
I'm trying to prevent you, something like this, visa interview, and the professor I trying to take you, just prove yourself that you are perfect for me.
Mhm.
So the environment is different. So that's why I said first I will talk about the visa interview because I just uh, before coming here for the PhD I don't have the visa interview, but for the masters I did the interview. But I remember the first, like, because it was in 2018. The first question he asked me, like, what is your university name? Because sometimes the students they just come as they come in a different countries as a student, but actually he's not a student. So they try to know more about, okay, you are a student or not, because this is very basic question. What is the
Mm,
course name? What is your university name? If you can't answer it, that's mean you are not going for the study. That's true. Or you don't know about anything.
anything, yes.
You did this process by someone. That this problem will happen. Okay. So
But
then they said, what?
your
Hmm.
bachelor certificate does not say that because you
No, I'm
supposed to
talking about the
submit
university
your
name of that I'm going to study for masters.
No, he's
mhm.
Why?
talking about like specifically not about the professor interview, because professor interviews are you already know
Ah,
which university you are dealing, but sometimes it's for the visa interview. There's so many
No, I'm talking now. I'm talking about the visa
visa
interview.
interview,
Like
and
when I went
this
there,
this is really like this is pathetically very true. There's so many students that doesn't even know what university they're applying for, what the subject
yes,
they're applying for, because they submitted their file to the agency and they talk to the agency, or they
yes.
say to the agency that do
This is the
everything for
problem.
by myself,
Yeah.
like behalf of myself, and whenever the visa is done, I'm gonna pay you that amount of like certain amount of the money. So there are so many students like it's really harsh to say, but they're fake students.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So the very first they said like that. After that, they try to discover why you are going there, why the Russia, in my case, in Russia, why you choose Russia, what is your funding, like the source, because I give him the paper of my funding. Okay, I can have this because when I was in when I had an interview with them, I had a scholarship from my country, but they didn't know about this scholarship. So then I tried to explain, but the problem is in 2018 my English was not good. So he tried to like manipulate me because when I tried to speak I stuck somewhere. So but the documentation that I brought that time, it was totally like good. So that's why he consider myself okay, I cannot speak very well, but he tried to explain and I'm confident that time. So the important stuff is your document should be true, every documents what you made. Then you feel the confidence. Okay, I have the document. There is a proof. There is no fake document that I bring here to show the visa officer. So you need a confidence. Sometimes you cannot speak well because we are not native English speaker. So this is very like usual to stack during speaking. But you have to be confident. You try to be explain what you know, but don't memorize something and just come and just say like recite something like this. No, you are just talking with him. You try to explain, although you were stuck, but you try to explain and be confident and bring the original documents. And the problem is sometimes the two problem happening there, the source of funding, because the European culture is okay, you have enough money to stay in the European country. They try to ensure this because you come here and you have no money. That's mean you are a headache of this country. So that's why the visa officer always try to like ensure you have the enough money to stay at least during your study. So
So,
the source of funding.
sorry to
Mhm.
interrupt. But could you please say some specific questions, like what they ask in interview, like the specific some questions?
Yes, as I said, that's I'm saying like the source of funding. They ask why you get this money
Okay.
because
Like, yeah,
in the time of
where you get the
that's
money?
what I'm saying. Yeah, where do you get this money? And that's what I'm saying. This is the important question you have to be tackle very smartly. Sometimes as a student we don't have the enough money. We bring from our parents. So you have to say, okay, I have these brothers, these sisters, and I have this amount of money. So if you divided this, that's mean I have this amount of money that is mine. And okay, I have this savings because I did these things. Maybe someone do job, so I have the job and I have this savings. I have my mother deposit, so I have the father my father deposit. My father property has this, and you need a what do you call affidavit that your father or mother, the parents or your guardian approve yourself to give this money. So this is the very important questions to ask where you get this money. And and as Abdul said, like every visa every interview started from describe yourself little bit, so they try to know that you know yourself or not, or you can explain little bit yourself or not, because this is the first question is always about talk something about yourself. That's mean they try to understand you can speak English well or not, you can explain yourself well or not. So this is the question for interview. If I summarize this, where you which university you are going to study, which course. Can you explain a little bit where you studied there, like in your country? What is the relationship between your study in, for example, in the college or in the university, and that now the masters? Like, what is the link of the bachelor's and masters that you are doing right now? So this kind of questions they ask in the visa interview times. But the main thing, you have to be confident and try to be fluent in English, although it's a difficult. And in terms of Portugal, now I heard too many people that two questions or two problems they're facing. One, the source of funding, they cannot explain it well, so they doubt, okay, what they showed, this is not his money or her money. So this one people are get rejected. And the third is they cannot speak well, and someone doesn't have the IELTS score, so they filter out very first. They don't know if IELTS score, okay, we don't take him, or if I take him, whatever he said, we didn't take, we give him the rejection. So this too is important for the Portugal right now, because I talked to too many people who is rejected, and the main problem, there's source of funding and doubt as a student. Like, he didn't believe that he is a student. How? Because he cannot speak, he cannot say these basic questions. So I think I can explain the interview scenario. Do you have any questions that I can miss that I
No,
need
no,
to
it's all
explain
right.
a little bit?
I,
Whatever you said.
I would like to add two stuff, if you
Please,
allow me.
please, please.
For the visa interview, as you know now, since COVID situation, and it started to be everything via some companies. I remember that once I go to in my country in Egypt, I went to that the embassy mentioned that you need to give your documents to a company called VSF, something like that, and
BFS, yes.
they revise it and or VFS, I don't remember the name exactly, and they revise the documents and they send it to the embassy. Also, as Munna mentioned, yes, the source of funding, and also they want to make sure about your accommodation if you have a proof for your accommodation where you will live. But for my case, as a scholarship, the accommodation and the funding of the scholarship, all these kind of documents, because I would like to say that for the audience. I know that Mona explained if it's a scholarship or not. For my case, it's a scholarship. All of these kind of informations, my professor gave it to me, even a letter to the embassy, the source of funding, a source of where the accommodation is, where exactly, where I will live, the money, all of this stuff. And also, whenever you need something, you need just to ask the professor, I need just this document, and he will send it to you. It's the easy way, not hard. And for the interview, the first time I give it some title. It's a famous sentence in my country, as I remember. It's some you can say about it. Speak so I can know who you are. The professor. It's something like that. So tell me about yourself so I can know more about you. This is the first interview. It's about this sentence.
All right, guys. So it's really interesting what I have like heard so far so from you. So in that sense, I really now like to say about a little bit about like what was my interview for the bachelor. So usually what they ask for the first time, yes, they ask me who I am, like introduce yourself. I said something regarding myself, and then afterward, the second question was for the interviewer. It was, why did you choose that specific country? Like, why did you choose this country? Because there is some other country you can easily choose. Why you choose this country? And I answered. And secondly, he asked me like, why did you choose that subjects? And what is the main goal behind of these subjects? Like they can easily ask by step, but they ask like he asked me like in together, and then he said, I said this thing, then why I choose that specific university, and afterward I answered this one. He asked me, did you choose any other country in did you choose any other university in that specific country? Like in terms of Portugal, they're asking me, why did you choose this university in Portugal? Have you choose any other universities in Portugal for the visa interview? And I said no. I said yes. I choose another university, but however, I found this university is much better for me. That's why I choose this one. And I also like did some little bit analysis of the university, some other university, like I was talking about Nova, talking about like Braganza University and some other university as well. And afterward they have so many plenty of questions, but they usually lacks few questions. They would really want to ensure that you are really know what the university you are studying, what the subject you are studying, and what is your career goal, what you really actually want to do like in your further life. And they always want to make sure that your funding is really clear, because this is the main point. You can study over there. If you're really student, then you can obviously go and study. But however, if you're not student, then obviously you're going to skip your university, and there will be so many problems going to be the further life. So yes, that's the main point what I have realized so far. And there's so many questions, guys. I have found out, like I was noting down, there's a more than like 33 questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just write that question in a document, and I'm going to post it in our website. Just visit eulifeinfo.com, and you will find that post and our this video, and also the documentation what you actually want to the questions you will actually need to be answered, because so these questions are same, but you need to find the answer specifically for, like, if you choose Denmark, if you choose United Kingdom, if you choose Netherlands. So the question is same, but the answer is like similarly changed, because if you what answer you were saying regarding UK, this answer not applicable for the Portugal. What the answer you were saying for the Netherlands, it's not applicable for the like any other country or Russia, just suppose. So there's a you need to make your answer by yourself. Like, why choose this country? Okay, I choose this country for this reason. This country has these facilities. This country giving me that kind of facilities, that kind of advantages. So we need to find out these sort of things. And another thing, what they ask at the lastly, what they asked me lastly, that my accommodation where I'm going to stay, and who going to bear my further tuition fees. So usually they ask for show you the funding for the 1 year, at least 1 year funding you have, and they also ask who going to fund you for the further of your study. So obviously you need to be very clear regarding who is sponsoring you, who is funding your studies. So yeah, you have to be clear all the time. And if the interview is more more judge like he's a like is judgmental, then you need to also research about your course unit, because there's some interviewer they also ask you what your first like what your course unit for the first year. So many student doesn't study these things. So prepare yourself for the all kind of circumstances. Like sometimes there is a like you are doing computer science, so you already know your course unit, you already got your whole syllabus for the 3 years. So sometimes they also ask about your tell me about your first semester course unit. So if they're so judgmental, if they're not, they're gonna ask you 5 or 3 questions, and you will feel free to go. But if the interviewer is really like preventing yourself, as Munna said, he will always want to stuck you in a point, so you need to be prepared for all the things. So guys, yeah, that was like my
Yeah,
perspective for the next.
it's normal. It's normal because the visa interview. This is his duty to take the exact student, like the because this student comes to his country and somehow he contribute. If he is not as a student, so then he's not contributing in a way of student. But maybe you'll work somewhere, get some money. But the visa interview, the interviewer or like the officer should have this capability to take the original student. So that's the thing, as you mentioned. But I want to mention something like that. If your university, your professor agreed to take you, if your base officer don't agree with take you, that's when you cannot come. So be serious about it. So visa interview give you visa. If you didn't get the visa, the officer, the professor, the university will not do anything. Maybe you can appeal again. You have a big process to approve your visa, but it's a hassle. So prepare for the visa interview, very well organized, as Naim Abdul said. So try to be a original for everything. For example, documents, source of funding, studentship, everything. To try to be a what do you call, like the truth that you
Yeah,
have.
you
Don't
are
fake
genuine.
Yes,
However,
yes.
Muna, I'm really sorry to over here to interrupt you. I would like to add a one point. You know, what the thing is that for the university, they're always like want you to take you for the university. They always want the students. So guys, don't be afraid about the university interview. It's not going to be that much like it's not a rocket science. They just want to get some little bit information.
Yes,
Like
yes,
in
that's what
terms
I'm
of
saying. Yeah.
university interview, like helping me, and my interviewer was a female. She helping me, and she was giving me the answer. She said, okay, for me it's okay, but you have to be prepared for your visa interview, so this question answer should be like that. Yeah, like in terms of she was helping me, like she was organizing my
Yes,
answer
yes.
as well.
Now, for example, as I said, the bachelor, master's, and PhD, the professor interview is different.
Mhm.
Maybe the visa interview kindly similar, but the professor interview is different. So
Yes.
bachelor, I don't have the experience as you said, so
Mhm.
we know
Like
how
for,
they.
for the bachelor and masters, like they really want the students because
Yes,
we're paying very good amount of money, but in terms
yeah,
of the professor
yes,
interview.
because see, the masters and bachelors, they don't
Go
go
that much
deeper
deeper.
for the skill.
Yeah.
Skill. They just try to understand the student he or she actually want to
He's
study
able to
for
like
bachelor. Yes,
what.
Age
able and
motivated.
Yes, yes. Well,
yes.
what I have
So
learned so
this
far,
thing,
I
but
thought like they're trying to ensure that this is a student. Maybe he or she capable enough to complete the
yeah,
degree.
that's it. Yes.
There's that just need to ensure like
So there is very little skilled
the
questions
skill.
like what do you know this programming, for example, in terms of the computer science, or do you know this thing? This kind of question is very little, but they try to they understand like you are motivated to study,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what you're going to do in the
Yes.
master's
Uh,
or bachelor's
yes,
time.
and the visa
And
interviewer really want to ensure that you are a genuine student. You're going to study, and you
Yes,
can
you have the
fund
money.
yourself.
and also they, if you succeed, that means they also succeed. I mean the university and the student. If the students manage the university, that means it succeeded also. And they need you as you need them. And also there is something. Um, the for a country like Portugal or any European country, if you are a student from outside the country, this is something good for them also, not bad. Because in that case, the reputation of the country itself with communicating or contacting with other countries is higher degree. Also, you'll
No,
find
the
like
the world
some
ranking
kind of
also depend on the how
percentage
much
for
foreign student they are dealing with. So university
yeah,
also seeking for the world ranking, you
World
know.
ranking.
So
So
that's
yeah.
a, they
if
need
your
they need
university is
the
taking international students, then your ranking is more higher.
yes, yes. So
But I would like to say something about the interview. Because I know if you will speak about yourself, you may take around 10 minutes, and maybe the first interview it depends half an hour or 40
It
minutes,
depends, bro.
something like that.
You can't say like this interview is going to be 10 minutes because as
it
Yeah,
I
it
went to
depends.
depends.
the
It will not take 10 minutes actually, but I
yes, like
mean that if you
I
will
no
speak,
I went to the interview like visa interview. Some of my colleagues just go to the interview. Their interview was finished in 15 or 20 minutes. Some of them like they are doing interview like it's almost 1 hour. You know.
but for me, but as I came in a PhD scholarship, the visa interview it was easy. For me, it
Yes,
was
for the PhD,
I
for
could
the
I
PhD,
don't
bro,
consider
they
it
don't
That's
easy.
do.
that's what I'm saying. The like
Yeah,
even
it
my
was very
case,
easy.
I don't have any interview.
Yes.
I just give my documents to one company. They made everything for me and give the passport with visa.
Yes,
Even
like
there is
for
no
me,
interview.
yes, like for me, for I
It's
didn't
depend on the
I
PhD.
didn't had Portuguese embassy interview. I just had a university interview. Then I submitted my
Yes,
documents. They grant my visa because they
it's
my
depend. It's depend. But
my document and my SOP was enough to prove that I'm a student.
yes, it's depend. It's depend.
It depends, but
I
this
don't
is
know if we
exceptional.
need
An
to
exception, not
if
an example.
Uh,
is it possible to to give some informations about the interview as a professor?
Yeah,
Because
you
this
can
is a
say.
plan I used to follow. Like, for example, I split it into three parts. First part about me. Who is me? I graduated from which field, which department and faculty, university, all of this stuff. And after that, I made my achievement, what I did in my master, what I achieved, what did I achieve, what papers I published, what my thesis is about, if I didn't publish anything. Then my interest. I'm interested in data science and I would like to continue my work in data science. course, your scholarship will be related to data science. That's why you submitted your application. That's why the professor would like to accept you. And also expect that once you finish presenting yourself, the second question will be directly, can you explain your master thesis, or can you explain your algorithms that you made during your for publishing your papers, all of this stuff. Of course, because you did the work by yourself, it will be easy to explain it without PowerPoint. Of course, you'll explain it to him face to face, like us here in the meeting. And once you finished, he will be, if he understands, he of course will understand your work, and you will give him critical points, advantages, and disadvantages, and he will recognize that yes, you have some kind of critical thinking, and you already did this job. No one did it instead of you. Maybe, as you know, sometimes you may find a bad researcher who put his name in a paper and he did nothing. So all of expect that after presenting yourself or explaining or giving more information about yourself, the second question will be related to your thesis. This is all the first interview. I followed this kind of plan by dividing my speech into these
Yes, yes. If it
parts.
is the
It
master's
was
or a
organized,
PhD,
focused, well,
then we need to explain the
different.
thesis. This is good because
Yeah,
the thesis is like a certificate because certificate of skill that you have achieved during your bachelor's. But in the bachelor, as Naim said, you need to prepare about uh, the motivation that you are why you
yeah.
are
For
coming.
bachelor and master, I think
Yes.
it's more hard, and you have the knowledge. I didn't do it, and I guess
Yes,
this
yes.
is
For the masters, they try to know what you studied in the bachelor time and what you are going to study. Is there any matching? For example, I studied one subject and I'm going very different subject. So then they're confused that I can able to finish or not. So that's why they try to say what you studied, okay, in a master's time, bachelor time. For example, in my master's in data science, do they ask me, do you have any mathematical course before in your bachelor time? And I showed them my transcript and I said, see, I have the four course, which is the 3 credit, so I have passed with this number. And they said, oh, okay, that's fine. Because the math and the master's data science is very related. If I don't know anything, that means I will be suffer in when I attend the master's course. So this is the important things that before face the interview with the professor or the authority in the university, you have to study about your courses that you are going to study in masters, and then you will match with your bachelor if you have any matching that you're confident. Okay, I'm choosing this course because my background in bachelor is the same like that I'm going to do in my masters, so that's why I'm choosing this. So the answer is very easy to understand for your professor or the authority of university. So you have to be you need to do some research. This is important. You study about the what you are going to study, what is your the previous alumni they published or they submit their thesis, what kind of thesis they're like submitted. Then you can understand, okay, from after finishing this you will do this kind of work because the thesis is a reflection of the 2 years work. And every like if you study 10 or 20 students that they publish their thesis, then you understand, okay, after 2 years I will try to do something like this, not exactly this, something like this. So you will be also clear that, okay, what the title of the course and what is the end of the course. Because sometimes the university they mention some title, but the course content is different, and then it's frustrating someone who actually want to study, actually want to know. Then he or she didn't feel well to finish this masters. It happened when I was in the Russia. Some people has the problem. They came only see the title of this the subject, and when they studied, they found some subject that doesn't have any sense to do. Why I am doing these courses?
Yeah, yeah.
So this
I
is the
got you.
important thing you need to
Yes,
research.
amazing. So yeah, we are really in the part of this video. So if I sum up everything together, so
Okay.
is we also talk about the master's, PhD, and bachelor. So the question of the university interview, no need to take pressure. So the just need to be you just need to be clear about your subjects and about the university what you are going to study. So do some research about your university, do some research about your subjects. So this thing is like need to be clarified by the university, and they also sometimes ask about your funding. But this is like not that much tougher, not like rocket science, that university interview. And the visa interview is really crucial, so you have to be clear why you are studying this subject, why you are choosing this university, why you specifically choose this country, what type of course unit you have. Maybe they could ask, or maybe they cannot. And also the funding should be clear, like what type of fund, like who is going to be fund you, who is your sponsor, and like what's your career goal. And obviously you must need to say, like after completing your degree, you need to come back your country. So if you say no, I'm going to stay your country, so maybe the visa interview gonna not gonna like accept this answer very perfectly. So be clear about this thing. So if I specify every question, it's not possible to answer everything in this short video. So it's like 40 minutes video. However, this takes too long. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just ask Munna and Abdur and my knowledge. We're going to make a PDF file, or we can going to make a doc file. We're going to post it in our website. Just visit our website, you will get all the question. And I will also try to put some answer as well, but you need to make your answer by yourself, so it will be much better. So yeah,
Yep.
that's the main sum up. I know there is so many things we have missed, so please comment below and help us to grow the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. We never ask for the subscription, but please try to give a subscribe button. There's that one button. Click and give a like. And obviously, if you have any opinion, any question, please leave it for the comment section. And that's it. See you in the next week. So yeah, if you guys even want to say anything,
No, like the subscription is our inspiration. So if people
inspiration,
do
yeah,
it,
it
if
gives us
people
to
do it,
motivate.
we will feel better to do this continuous podcast
Yes,
for a
and
specific subject. And
Yes.
it is important to have the comment to if they need something from
Yeah,
us, then we
specific
can
thing.
make
Yes,
another
yes.
video.
Please,
Yes.
please comment below if
yes,
you need anything.
free to
So
ask
yeah,
for anything, friends.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
guys. So
Feel
we
free.
have like 30 seconds. So thank you so much,
Ah,
guys.
so bye bye.
Bye bye. See you in the next